Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center's art tutorial featuring Días de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. This is a holiday that primarily comes from Mexico, but is also observed in parts of Central America. We're going to be making an art project today that helps to express some of the beauty and the art that is created on this. So I made two of these projects today. This one, I used warm colors in. The reds, the yellow, the oranges. On this one, I used the cool colors. You can remember it because one is the color of fire, the other is the color of like ice and water, the blues, the greens, the purples. So we're going to learn a little bit about this really beautiful holiday, but I want to make a distinction before we go much further that Day of the Dead is not the Mexican Halloween. They have nothing in common. Even our calaveras, which is Spanish for skulls, these are happy, these are smiling. They're not from like a scary movie. So our Halloween is about boo and scary stuff and ghosts and witches and costumes and things like that. But that's not what Day of the Dead is about. And if you've seen the movie Coco, you know what I mean. Días de los Muertos is when people set aside 2 days in November, November 1st and 2nd, to remember those who have passed, their ancestors, their family members and friends, and even their pets. So it's a joyous occasion where they celebrate the life of these people, and they have wonderful traditions that are also joyous. And we're going to learn about some of those traditions, but I want to make sure you knew the difference between Halloween and Días de los Muertos. So let's learn a little bit about different aspects of this holiday. First of all, let's find out where it comes from. Let's see a map of Mexico. You can see here that Mexico is to our south. So it's between our country and Central America. And different parts of Mexico celebrate it with much more gusto than others, but most towns celebrate it in one way or another. Really big celebration. Let's see what else we have. Now, look. For us, going to a cemetery at night might seem like a scary thing, but on this holiday, all of the family members come down into the cemetery and they light candles and they spend the day cleaning the graves of the grass and the weeds that have come. There's musicians that are playing. There are flowers everywhere, and they have their dinner there. And they burn incense to hope that their ancestors smell that incense and come and share dinner with them. These are a couple of symbols from this holiday. The marigold, those orange flowers, have a very distinct smell, and it is believed that that smell brings the spirit back to the grave where their family is waiting for them. The calavera is there, and there's a little picture of what we call pan de muerte, or bread of the dead. Here is our pan de muerte. You can kind of see how it's got like a skull and crossbone. There's a beautiful tradition associated with this sweet bread, that when they're cutting the pieces up to give to the family members, that there's a little surprise inside. And whoever gets that little surprise inside, I think it's like a plastic doll in some cases, they're the person that has to host the party the next year. Let's see what else we have. This is a drawing, a print actually, made by the artist Posada. And he was a political cartoonist, and he also made light of this holiday because, like I said, it's joyous. And this is a picture of the character La Catrina, who legend says worked in a very wealthy household, and when the woman of the household would get rid of her old fancy clothes, La Catrina would hijack them and start going around town and wearing her fancy hat and her fancy clothes. So this time of year, that image always shows up of La Catrina. This is a whole bunch of calaveras, or skulls. And you can see they're brightly colored. There's nothing scary about these. They're all very brightly decorated with flowers around the eyes, and they've all got smiles. So this is kind of what we're making today. This is a procession. You can tell that these people have had their faces painted. That's another big part of this tradition. They're carrying the special marigold plants. They've got their candles. They're probably on their way to the cemetery to hang out with their relatives. Here's an example. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about symmetry. I want you to notice that what's around one eye is around the other eye. What's on one side of our friend's head is on the other side of our friend's head. So the flower around the eyes, that's kind of a big thing. They all kind of do that. But I want you to notice he's happy. There's decorations all over the place. Let's take a look at another one. Now you can see there's flowers inside the eyes on this one, but look, everything that's on one side is on the other. It's called symmetry. So when you're decorating your calavera, remember what you put on one side, you got to put on the other. And we got hearts and flowers. Think about things that go in the middle too. Now, part of this tradition that I particularly really love is making altars or ofrendas. Now, they can be gigantic, like the one that we're seeing here, or they can be like a medium-sized one that's in a person's home, or they can be even a really smaller one, like in a tiny apartment or something. But here are the things that they all have in common. They're all going to have a picture of their loved ones. They're going to have things that matter to that person. If they liked orange soda, there's going to be some orange soda on the counter. And if they liked M&Ms, there's going to be M&Ms on the altar. The altar is usually stepped up. It almost always has those marigold flowers on it. And like I said, it can be big, it can be small, but almost everyone sets one up. Sometimes they even set a little trail of those marigolds that lead right through their house to their altar. So let's take a look at what we're going to be needing for our project that we're going to be doing today. You can get these supplies anywhere. The first thing we're going to need is our bag of markers. Any kind of markers will work. The more colors you have, the better. Because some construction paper, bright colored construction paper. You can use wrapping paper that's left over from a holiday too. You're going to need some glue sticks. You're going to need a white piece of poster board. And you're going to need a black piece of construction paper. And this is kind of thicker, but it doesn't have to be. And then you're going to need some cardboard that's cut into squares, because this is going to be what makes our project rise up or become a relief. So let's begin, shall we? All right, clean workspace is a happy workspace. The first thing I need to do is I'm going to draw my skull. Now look, it's easy to do. You don't have to worry about making a mistake on this. We're going to do a big round head, and I'm using my pencil, so you can always erase it if it doesn't come out right. And it's like a light bulb, or a cupcake, or a muffin. Like here's the top of the muffin, and I'm going to put it in marker so you can see it better. And here's the bottom of the muffin, or the bottom of the light bulb. That's where the jaw goes. So let me take my black marker. Where's my black marker? All right, I'm going to outline this so you can see a little bit better. Pencil doesn't show so well. I'm trying to make it as symmetrical as possible. Here we go. Here's my skull. Now, I think it looks best if you use a black marker to do all your decorations, and then you go through with all this cool color stuff, and you color it in afterwards. So let's start our two eyes. Now, you may or may not know that your eyes sit in a hole in your skull called the eye socket. So we're going to color these in. We need two eyes. All right, now the nose on a skeleton, it's easy to remember. It's an upside down heart. That kind of is like the basic shape that we use, because your nose is made out of cartilage. So when there's no skin on it, it's just really a hole in your skull. Now, the mouth. Now, there's many ways of doing this. You could, I'm going to turn this over, you could just do this, a smile and little things like Jack Skeleton. That's the Jack Skeleton kind of smile. I'm going to do a different one. I'm going to make kind of a smiley rectangle. See that? And here's my smile line, like that. And I'm going to give him some teeth. So here's the teeth. Thump, bump. There you go. There's my teeth. Super easy to do. All right. Now I start to do some of my decorating. So I'm going to put, let's see, let's put a flower right in the middle of my head. So I'm going to put my flower, and maybe I want to put a smaller flower further down here. Remember, the more lines you have, the better. I'm going to put some hearts on my cheeks. And maybe I want to put a second line around those. I have all these beautiful color markers I can use. All right, now I'm going to put a leaf. Remember, a lot of these things had symbols of nature in them too. And let's see, I'm going to put some dots going down here. There we go. Put some down that side, and of course I got to put some on this side, right? Because we want to try and keep it symmetrical. Maybe I want a little mustache on my friend here. There we go, a little mustache. Maybe I want to put some dots coming down here. The more that you have, the more interesting it's going to be. Oops, gonna run out of room. Here we go. All right, let's see. Let's put some flowers around my eyes. Remember, that was a big thing, flowers around the eyes. There we go. And around this side. Okay, I think we got enough there. Maybe we can put a couple of more lines here. All right, so now I've got a bunch of coloring in to do. And I saw you one and showed you one in warm colors, and I showed you one in cool colors. I'm going to make this one a little of both. Always remember to put the caps on your markers. Remember those orange marigolds? They're very important. So I'm going to put orange flowers around my eyes to symbolize those marigolds. I'm doing a kind of a quick job coloring this in, but you can take way more time. Where was it? Let's get my hearts all colored in here. Let's get some purple in here. And how about a blue mustache? Big one there. All right. Now, you know, if you want to, you can always free to go in and add some more color. I'm going to add a little bit of green to my leaves. But here you go. So now our next step is to cut this out. Here is our paper, here is our Calavera. But remember, we wanted it to pop off the page. So here are my squares of cardboard, and you can make it as high as you want, you know. So I'm just going to kind of make a cardboard sandwich here. Put one in the middle, and then I'm just going to build up my platform. Glue, cardboard, glue, cardboard. Glue, cardboard, and then I think that's pretty high up. Let's see what we got here. Da, 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 da. There you go. So you see? Look how much higher that is. So now it kind of pops off like 3D. But this is kind of boring around here. So what I did was, I have some construction paper. Remember from earlier? You can also use wrapping paper. And I'm going to cut out some L's. Like L as in Larry. I'm going to cut out some L's. And that's going to help you make a border. Okay, there's one group of L's. There's our other group of L's. So see, we have all these L's now. So we can do something like this. Let's see. And go like if you want. Goes like this. This goes like this. See, then we have all these extra here. So now we're starting to build a frame. And if you wanted to, I can even do a double one. Like I'm going to put that there like that. And then if I wanted to, I could put this one here like that. So you see how I'm getting like a double frame with more color? I can put this one like this. Because it can go underneath your skull, because your skull is up. And this one can go like that. See how this is starting to shape up? Now our plain background is less plain. And then I'm always free to then add more to it if I want. This is cool. It's kind of like building something as you go. You've got all these supplies and you can kind of grow and develop it as you go. So here, I have this extra paper. So I'm just going to take these and I can set them right on there, like that. Now I'm just kind of coming up with my design first, and then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to glue everything down. So I kind of like the way those look, because this is kind of chaotic. This is a little bit less chaotic. I kind of like it. So now I'm just going to go through with my glue stick, and I'm going to glue everything down. I'm not going to make you watch me glue everything down, but just wanted to show you. Just put enough glue on there, pop it on, and there you go. And if you want to put some of these little guys on here, just put some on each individual one. To make them into diamonds, it's a little bit different than having them just be squares. And let's get one more on there. All right. There you go. So, this is our project. And I already showed you the couple that we finished, so we'll show you what those look like again. All right. Just want to remind you that these are all glued down. Here we go. Ta-da! So, this is how you make a Calavera relief artwork to help celebrate Dias de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. I hope you learned a little bit about this beautiful holiday, and I hope you take a moment to appreciate it. Go to an event, see some altars that people have built. People, they make a big deal out of it. You can go see artwork from this everywhere. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for letting us share this beautiful tradition with you. This is Canoga Park Youth Arts Center, and we'll see you again.